Hi everyone, my name is Farjad Habib. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first video of many videos that I'll be going to upload to my channel. This in this series of videos, I'm going to try to teach you guys about web development and how to become a coder. There are many courses online available for this, which I have seen online, but I most of them the good quality are actually paid courses and there's no free version. But what I have seen so far is that if you have passion and if you have proper guidance, you won't need to pay for the courses and you will actually learn a lot of stuff. So let's start with my first day and first video of the series. Um, so general information about me. Farjad Habib, I have a bachelor's in computer science. I have more than 10 years of experience in coding and application development. I'm working in as Azure DevOps architect, and for my hobbies, I like to explore nature, watch TV. I love cars, and I like to teach. Uh, if you want to look me up or get in touch, here's my LinkedIn profile, and here's my Twitter account. Let's start with the lecture today. So, there are many reasons that people want to learn coding, right? Uh, it's a hot topic these days to code and create new applications and transform your ideas into a working technology. So, there are few of the reasons why someone would like to learn coding to get a better job. You might not be happy with your current job or current career path, so you want to have a better job. That's why you are learning to code uh, to get better income. Coding and software development jobs are usually highly paid jobs, and you can get a better income for coding and software development. Um, to have a career in technology, if you are tech savvy and you want to have a career in technology, uh, in in the modern cloud, in the app modernization, in the application development, and then you might want to learn coding to get a basic know-how of how the stuff goes. Um to become a role model, maybe you want to be a better role model to your kids, to your community, and you want to have a better intellect in technology to become a role model. That's why you want to learn coding. Um or to learn the hot stuff in the market now. Actually, coding is pretty hot topic right now. And then, of course, the average salary of a junior developer or entry level developer is 65,133 in United States. But if you are living in states like California or New York or Colorado, you can actually make a good living uh, and start pretty high, about 80,000, $90,000 a year. So that's some of the uh, reasons to learn to code. Uh, and then coding also helps you become better in your daily life. Many people don't recognize this, but coding does help you a lot in your daily life and in your daily routine. For example, it makes you become organized. The way you organize your applications and ideas, it helps you become organized in your uh, life or in your daily routine as well. Uh, then it helps you understand the things logically and with another vision, or I would say in a different way. For example, if you are looking at a thing, for example, if you are looking at your car, like you are just driving your car, uh, now if you have learned coding, or if you start thinking about it logically, you know, okay, car has functions, car has tires, car has doors. So all that stuff comes into your mind and you become more perspective, or more or more recipient or receptive uh, to minor things or minor details which matter in the life. um, Coding also helps you bring out your creativity. For example, if you are working on an idea which is a very creative idea, it helps you to make that idea into a feasible or into existence. For example, if you have a very creative idea of what you can do with technology, it so coding can help you give life to your idea and bring out your creativity. Then better work-life balance, because software engineering jobs are usually, if you're good at them, uh, you tend to finish your work earlier or in time, so you don't have to spend late nights, or you don't have to spend a lot of time on your job, and it gives you a better work-life balance. Well, it depends on what kind of job you are doing, but mostly if you are good at it, you will be able to do it in time, and you won't have to sacrifice your life for your other life for your work life. um, and then there are tons of opportunities of remote job, so you can work from literally anywhere where you can get access to the internet. You don't need to be present on site, or you don't need to be face to face with the clients or with the users. You just need to communicate with them over maybe video chats or over a call, and get your work done. And flexibility and freedom. For example, you can work at your own timings, you can work at your own pace, and you can define your own hours and do all that kind of stuff in a in a coding job, or in a software engineering job. That's how it goes. Okay, so now coming to what this series is going to teach you. So there are fundamental concepts of web development which we are going to study uh, in this series. So we are gonna understand the front-end development and the concepts and learn them. Similarly for the back-end development, then I'll teach you some basics of the coding, and we will do a lot of exercises in coding to become familiar with certain cliches and niches inside coding and technologies. Algorithms and data structure overview. Algorithms and data structure are a very big part of coding, so we are going to touch those as well, and we are going to go through the algorithms and data structure which are fundamental to every programming language. Um then we are going to learn GitHub and versioning tool, which is gonna help us learn a tool for versioning of our code, how to check in, how to keep track of all the changes, and how to keep track of everything that we do every day uh, in our coding life or in our work life. um, and at the end we are also gonna talk about how to create a profile and portfolio, so that you can present it to the clients, present it to the market, and get good jobs with your abilities. So our lecture will be structured around theoretical aspect or concepts. So whatever topic we are gonna cover in the lecture, we'll cover theory of that topic. Then we will do an in-lecture exercise, which will be a small exercise to take you through some of the basic steps of whatever we have learned in theory. And then there will be a homework assignment, which you can do at your own time, uh, and then you can compare the code with the assignment that will be uploaded to GitHub. And then there will be some projects and then market guidance in the lecture as well. For example, if we are learning a new concept, what kind of projects can be based on that concept or that technology, and what kind of market value do we have for that technology or concept. That's what we are going to learn. um, so that's how we are going to structure our lecture in every video, and hopefully at the end of this series you will be able to call yourself a good coder. And if you work hard, if you work really good, and if you do all the exercises, all the homework assignments, I can actually virtually guarantee you that you will be a good coder or a good programmer at the end of this lecture series. Okay, so let's start with first day lecture. That was the introduction and how this series is gonna be. Now we start with the lecture and see how we are going to proceed with everything that we have learned so far. So first step is going to be to create a GitHub account. Now, why are we creating GitHub account, and what is GitHub? GitHub serves as a repository for your code, or whatever you will do in this lecture series. GitHub will act as a repository and a store for your portfolio, for your code, and for your everyday homework assignments and exercises. Now, GitHub also is a version control system, which means that every time you update your stuff in GitHub, or put something new in GitHub, or create repositories or projects into GitHub, it keeps track of everything. So that will help us if we, for example, if you lose your code, or if you have made some mistake which you need to revert or roll back, GitHub is gonna help you with that as well. So first step will be creating GitHub account, which is really easy. We just go to github.com, and then let me sign out and let me show you how it works. So we will select a username for ourselves. The one that I selected was Farjad Habib. I put in, so since I already picked it up, it's not available. But you will use a username. Um, let's do this, and then I selected an email address, and then used password. You can actually, Chrome has this ability to suggest you a strong password, so you can use that, or you can use whatever password you have and sign up. Once you sign up, you will get an email to validate your email address. Once you do that, then you can sign in to the GitHub profile. Now, once you get into GitHub profile, you will see that I already have some of the repositories over here, my lectures, Azure PowerShell, and all that. So you will get a similar interface in your GitHub profile. Okay, let's move to the next step. So second tool that we are gonna use for us is Visual Studio Code. Now, Visual Studio Code is a very helpful tool. So uh, you can go and download your Visual Studio Code right here. I usually use the system installer because I usually install it for all of my system users. Even if I have different profiles or different accounts, you can use user installer, or you can also download the zip. So once you download it, then you install it, and I have pinned an icon right here for my Visual Studio Code, which I can open up, and you can see how it looks. So this is my Visual Studio Code. This is everything over here. Let me open up one of the folders. So Azure Scripts, select folder, and you will see that Visual Studio Code lists down all the files inside my folder. uh, and this is a really helpful tool for us, because this is gonna help us write code, format our files, and do a lot of other stuff like console and terminal commands, which we will use later on, and along with when we use it, I'll explain it to you. Second tool that we need to install is git bash. So you can download it from this git scm.com/downloads. uh, I'm also gonna upload this lecture to GitHub and share it publicly, so you can go in and click on the links and go to the download screens. Since we are using Windows, or I'm using Windows, I'm gonna select Windows for this. You can use Mac OS or Linux or Unix, whatever you are using. So when I downloaded it, I installed it, and this is my git bash. So yeah, So these are the two tools that we are gonna use in today's exercise, and uh, we are gonna look into different kind of languages and technologies that we are gonna use. Uh, okay, so third step is we are gonna configure our Visual Studio Code extensions. VS Code is Visual Studio Code, which is our tool here, right here. So if we go down here to extensions, we can see different type of extensions. So we are gonna install GitHub extension right here. So it's already installed for me, so you will see here install button. Just click install and it will install itself. Second thing that you can install is GitHub pull requests. It's gonna help you as well with all your GitHub needs. So install both of these, and then you will see a source control icon over here. Once you see the source control icon, actually you will need help. You will need some personal access token from GitHub to use over here. But let's start with GitHub, and then I'll show you what kind of configuration do we need to make it work with GitHub with Visual Studio Code. Okay, so git bash, we are gonna use git bash to communicate with GitHub. Uh, so first of all, first thing that we are gonna do is we are gonna create a repository in GitHub. So if this is gonna be your interface for GitHub, just go in here, new repository. Let's name the repository, since we are gonna use these lectures, my video lectures, and I'm gonna make it public. I'm gonna initialize it with readme, and I'm gonna give it a simple description. This repository will hold my lecture slides, and I will create a repository. So this is how you create a repository inside GitHub. And then the second step will be cloning the repository, so that we can move files into the repository and put the files. So first thing that we will do is we will want to go to a place where we want to keep all the clonings and everything for our file. So let's see. So we are gonna go into the folder. So I'm just gonna copy the folder path, whichever folder on my local machine I want to use to host my repositories. Just gonna copy it. We are gonna type cd space and paste the folder path. Okay, so we go back cd ls and go back again cd and go into cd Farjad. So cd means change directory. So cd space 2 dot means go up one level, and then cd Farjad means there's a folder name Farjad where I want to go into, and then we go into cd lectures. Sorry, my lectures. There we go. So this is the folder where I want to clone the repository. So I'm just gonna go and copy the path like this, and just gonna write the command git clone and paste it. So it just cloned the repository right here, and as we can see, let me show you, inside the folder right here Farjad my lectures, I can see a folder with my video lectures with readme, and then there is a hidden folder which has all the git configuration and everything. We usually don't need to modify this folder because this is kind of hidden. This is the readme.md. We can modify it, we can put a lot of stuff in here and use it. So once we have this, then we can move file into it, and we can push the file onto the uh, remote repository. So the repository right here, this is called remote repository, and this right here is called local repository. So your local repository resides on your local machine, and your remote repository resides online on GitHub. Okay, so after doing this, we are going to create a new file inside the repository, or let's say we just copy a file from one of the places. Let's see, say this one, since we are working with this one. Let's copy it here. So we have this file right over here, and then we are gonna stage the file for commit. So once you add a file or create a new file, you need to stage that file to commit it, and then once you commit it, then you can push the file to the repository. So staging is just marking the files ready for commit. So for example, I have just pasted a file, so what I can see is that there's a file which I need to check in. So to stage the file, the command is git add and the file name. uh, First of all, we need to change the directory and go inside uh, the repository that we have created for like this one, my video lectures. So my video lectures, and once we are in there, we can stage the file by using git add and the file name. And if we want to stage all the files which have been modified, we just use git add space dot means that we are committing or staging all the files, while just a single file name means we are staging just one file. I have added dev1.pdf, so I'm just gonna stage this file. Then we commit the files. Once we have staged the file to be ready to commit it, so we go with git commit -m, and after -m we can comment the whatever comment we want to put for our commit or the push, so that there is a record. So for this one, my day 1 lecture slide added. Now you can see that you can actually read here that there is my day 1 lecture slide added. This is a comment. One file changed, which is day1.pdf, which is created. So once we do that, then we can push the file using git push origin master. So now you see that now it has pushed the file to the remote repository from my local repository. So this is my local repository, and you can see this day1.pdf and readme, and it has now pushed the file to my remote repository. If I refresh the repository, you will see that day1 pdf shows up here, and I can see all the lecture slides in here. Okay, so this was first step of setting up git bash, and with few commands I have submitted or pushed all of my new files or changes into my remote repository. So next step is gonna be, okay, so there are useful git bash commands which we are gonna try all as much as we could. So ls actually gives you uh, list of the directories or the content list of the content inside your local repository. So since I am inside my video lectures, there are two shown files, so ls won't show you hidden stuff. It will only show you whatever is visible. Then mkdir let's say mkdir creates new directory or makes new directory, or a folder in Windows. So let's say I want to create my test folder. I'm going to give it a name, my test folder, and if I go back into my local repository, you will see that I have added my test folder. Then cd change directory, cd my test folder, and see, there is my test folder. Now you cannot check in or push an empty folder inside empty folder into git repository. So you always need to have one file inside repository or inside a folder. So we are gonna create a new file. We are gonna name it my test file .md, and if we go in here inside my test folder, here you see there's a my test file .md. Okay, so next is pwd. Pwd shows us which directory we are working in. So this is my directory right now which I am working in. So this is my working directory. So the directory or the folder inside which I am executing my commands is called a working directory. To rename files, mv, our file name was my test file.md, and we rename it to my rename file.md. And if we go back here, you see that my test file has been renamed to my rename file.md. Remove a file, simply rm my rename file.md, and you see that the file has been removed. Great. Then next command is history. History shows you all of the commands that you have executed. For example, you will see I started with ls cd, all of the commands that I have executed till now, which are like 34 commands. History has shown me all the commands. If I do cmdk, it clears all the output in my terminal. Okay, so code. Let's go back to git bash, which I accidentally closed. So code opens the VS Code. So if I hit write code and hit enter, you will see a new instance of Visual Studio Code has been opened for me. Let's go to the next page. Git config global username. So you when you're configuring you can set the global username and global user email in using git config. Git clone, we already use git clone to clone the repository. Git add, we already did the add. Git commit, we already commit the files. Git push, we push the file to the remote repository. Now let's work on git fetch and git pull. So for that, first of all, let's go back to the folder where we were working. cd Farjad, and the folder name was Farjad my lectures, my video lectures. Farjad my lectures, my video lectures. Okay, so here we are. So fetch shows us the list of new files or any changes, modifications that have been made directly to the remote repository. So for example, here's my remote repository. Let's go back, my video lectures, and I upload a file to my remote repository, which can be dev1.pptx. Let's upload this file right here, and I say my test for fetch and commit my changes directly to the master branch. We will study about the branches and uh, pull request and all that stuff later on when we actually uh, do advanced exercises for Git. So now what I can do is I can fetch and see what kind of changes have been made. So git fetch origin master will show me, okay, which what has been changed inside the remote repository. And I see there are total 3 delta 0 4 done, and has shown me that okay, there has been some changes in my master repository, which is this one. So I do a git pull, and you see once I did the pull, it downloaded the file dev1.pptx, which I have added over here right into my local repository right here. Now what I can do is I can remove dev1.pptx, and I do git add, I do git commit removed the test file. Sorry, I forgot to put the -m here, the comment thing, and then I do git push origin master. Okay, so now I have removed the file from my local repository, and you can see there is dev1.pptx no longer exists here. And then I added that change to, I staged that change using git add dot, and then I committed that change so that I can remove the file from the remote repository. And once I did that, I pushed my changes to the origin master, and then as you can see, if I refresh over here, that file is gone. So in this exercise we have learned all of the commands that we wanted to learn. Now the other thing that we can use for git commands is Visual Studio Code. So as I told you, inside the extensions inside Visual Studio Code, you can set up GitHub extensions, these two extensions, but there is another step that you need to do. So what Visual Studio Code does is it helps you manage all your Git repository through the code. So but before that, what you need to do is you need to create a personal access token inside um, inside GitHub, just like as explained here, and then you paste that token inside the inside the console window that GitHub provides. So if you hit Control Shift and P, here is your console that comes up, and then you can select set personal access token, then set the personal token, and then hit enter. So let me show you how to get the personal token from GitHub. So if you go back to GitHub, you will see right here is your picture or whatever you have uploaded or chosen, and then if you click here, you will see settings right here. If you go to settings and then you go to developer settings, inside there you can generate personal access token. You can see that I have already generated a token. If you generate a new token, you can give it a name. Let's say my test token. What you need to do is you need to give it access to do all the repository stuff, and then you can then hit generate token. When you hit generate token, it will show up like this, and this will give you this will give you a code only for the first time. Copy this codes, and when you hit Control Shift P right here, you select GitHub set personal token, paste it here, and that's how it's gonna work and help you with it. And once you hit enter, then it will set up the token, and then you can use that token to do all the operations on GitHub. uh, since I'm not going to use this token, I'm just going to delete it. Okay, so this is how it works. Now we go back to our source control. First of all, what we need to do is we need to open the folder where our lectures lie, my video lectures. Open it up. So day1.pdf, as you can see. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new file in here, which is my test file dot md, and said this is my test file for managing GitHub from VS Code, and save it right here. Now if I go back, as you can see, here is the file which is kind of untracked, and it's saying, hey, this is the file, do you want to this is the change file or a new file. So this add button over here or add plus button over here, these are gonna do the same thing that we did with git add command, which is gonna stage our changes. So if I click it here, it stage our change. Now second step is to commit the file. So just write a message here, my test commit for UI VS Code, and I just select commit from here, or I can do I can just hit enter and it will commit it for me. So I just do commit all. So now you can see it has committed my changes, and now once the commit my changes have been committed, I can just do a push, and once the command is complete for the push, I'll show you that the once the now since the command is completed, I can show you inside GitHub, right here in my repositories. Let's reload. Right here in my repositories, my test file.md. So I didn't need to write any command to create a new file. I just created a new file. I added the file using Visual Studio Code, using this add button right over here, and then I committed it, and then I just pushed it, and it performed all the operations that we did over here, git push origin master and everything for us. So that's how we can manage GitHub using Visual Studio Code. I think, yeah. So this is end of our day 1 lecture. I wanted to keep it short, shorter than an hour, so we are just gonna do it for 40 minutes, I guess. If you need any help, I will leave my email address, and I will leave in my information, so you can ping me or hit me with any questions that you have. Go home, do these exercises, create your GitHub account, run certain commands, be comfortable with running commands on GitHub, be comfortable with using Visual Studio Code, and once you do that, then you will start with more in-depth web development like HTML, CSS. I will also leave the course layout, and I will also leave the link to the GitHub repository that we are going to use for this course, with all the slides and course material that we are going to put, that I'm going to put over there. So that's it for the day. Have a great day. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video if it gave you some knowledge or taught you something. Please like it, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.